Why did the world abandon the gold standard? And what does this have to do with the birth of the petrodollar? These are important questions that delve into the heart of global economics, the politics of power and the interplay of nations. Recall, it's August 1971. President Nixon has just suspended the practice of converting dollars to gold, effectively ending the US gold standard. This decision wasn't made in a vacuum. European countries, still recovering from the aftermath of World War II, were becoming more competitive in global trade. Requests for payments from the US in gold were depleting the US gold reserve. The cost of new social programs and the Vietnam War in the 1960s were further straining the economy. This switch to a fiat currency set off a chain of events that reverberated on a global scale. The price of US grain exports quadrupled, which led OPEC countries to quadruple the price of their oil in return. An oil shock was born, further escalated by the oil embargo over the 1973 Yom Kippur War, resulting in US energy shortages. By the end of 1973, the US and Saudi Arabia struck a deal. The Saudis could charge any price for their oil, but all sales revenue had to be kept in US dollars, or the US would not guarantee their security. 2 years later, Saudi Arabia and other Arab oil producers agreed that oil would be priced and contracts traded in US dollars. Any country buying OPEC oil had to trade in US dollars. Thus, the petrodollar was born, replacing the gold standard with a new global system. The birth of the petrodollar increased the demand for the dollar. Oil exporting nations, flush with dollars from their trade surplus, invested in the US and global economy, including US debt securities. This practice, known as petrodollar recycling, created a constant demand for dollars in the world, solidifying its position as the global reserve currency. The petrodollar and petrodollar recycling systems support the US dollar as the reserve currency, creating stability in international trade and facilitating global trade by reducing exchange risk. The US benefits from a consistent demand for its currency, stimulating domestic economic growth and reducing interest rates. Moreover, the US, as the holder of the reserve currency, can influence international politics and economics through leveraging its currency, such as issuing economic sanctions. However, this system has its downsides. It requires the US to run a trade deficit to maintain dollar liquidity in the international market. Oil prices are dependent on the value of the dollar. Global inequality is exacerbated as oil exporting nations benefit while oil importers struggle. The stability of the petrodollar system is reliant on the stability of the US dollar. Stability is the key to the petrodollar system. Oil exporters need it for their security guarantees. The US has an interest in maintaining global stability to maintain a stable market. Therefore, the US becomes the guarantor of the OPEC nations' system of governance. And in exchange, they continue to sell in US dollars and reinvest in the US to support low interest rates and deficit spending. In conclusion, the petrodollar system, born out of the ashes of the gold standard, has created a complex web of costs and benefits for oil producers and the US that are not shared by non-producers. It has also forged a unique relationship between the Arab oil exporters and the US, making them mutually beholden to each other. The story of the gold standard and the birth of the petrodollar is a testament to the interdependencies of economics, politics, and power on the global stage.